So I thought to myself, I'm like, I remember the days where like I couldn't film content like a decade ago. Like I couldn't film unless I had like a full face of makeup. And then just even getting the full face of makeup and then like setting up the lights and then setting up the backdrop. By the time the setup was done, I was tired.
Yeah.
So the content wasn't created. So at this point, I'm just like, I'm gonna pick up
Oh
my
my God, that's so hard.
I'm just gonna do it. Like I'm just gonna do it because if I don't just do it, it's not gonna get done. And then I'm a hypocrite for like speaking to my clients to kind of just do it, you know, whether it's not perfect or like just get it done, Like I need to set the tone for everything that I do, right? Like how you do one thing is how you do everything.
Please help me welcome our next guest to the show, Vanessa Contreras, to the Thrive podcast. Vanessa is a content creator, social media strategist, and host, CEO and founder of So Necessary Creative. Her mission has been to empower business owners and content creators to elevate their brands by any means necessary. Vanessa is also a brand new mother, a girlfriend, and a dear friend of mine. I am so excited to get into this conversation and dive deep in all things branding, marketing, social media, and work-life balance. Please give her a warm welcome to the show. Okay, so welcome, Vanessa. Welcome to the Thrive podcast.
How exciting. I love the mood here. I love you, and then I love the vibes.
Thank you, babe. I was like, you know what, Vanessa's going to really appreciate this. So I'm really happy to have you here. We did do a podcast episode once back a few years ago. So it's nice to kind of come back to this again.
Yeah, and this time, like just you and I feel like we have good conversations.
Yes.
That was a great conversation, the pod we did, but this is going to be really great.
Yeah, this is going to be really good. So I really want people to, obviously we did a little bit of an intro for you, but I want people to hear from you. Like, who is Vanessa Contreras? What does she do? How did she get started in the content creation space? And
Okay. See, that's like I'm like redefining what that even means right now.
You're self-discovery.
This is like the first time this is the first time I'm having a conversation as I'm like redefining who Vanessa Contreras is. But I mean, all in all, I'm really just a passionate creative. I'm a people of the people. I am a woman that loves to empower. I am full of energy. I am full of life. I am full of God. And now I'm a mom. And I'm in the happiest place I've ever been in my life. I have a phenomenal partner, and I have like this adorable little family. And at the same time, how did I get here? Right? When? And at the same time, I feel like I'm still a boss. Like I'm an entrepreneur. I'm an influencer. I am all things creative. And definitely like exactly where I need to be right now.
Yeah, I love that, babe. And I love that you're sharing, you know, like you're like, hey, I'm kind of like rediscovering myself right now. So I'm going to just put it all out there. But this is like where I am, because honestly, someone can be listening to this and be like, where am I in my life? Like I'm kind of like rediscovering what I like, who I am, kind of like challenging old beliefs, kind of having a new identity. Right. So I feel like that's also a really good conversation that we can also touch base on today. But pretty much like where, you know, content creation, you've always been a creator. Where did that start? Have you always been a creator since you were a kid?
Yeah, I looking back at it now, right? Because we didn't call it this when we were younger. I think the closest thing to like what influencers and content creators are now were bloggers.
Right, or honestly like celebrities too.
Yeah. I mean,
like creators now are like little, like not even little.
No,
they're like
celebrities. They're up there. Like there's creators at the Grammys. Like as I see these things happening, I'm like, oh wow, like there's a whole new world. But I started a little over a decade ago as a blogger. So I started a blog and it was So Necessary. It was just that.
Girl, you've been like taking that brand with you.
Oh yeah, I love a play on words. I love a play on words. So Necessary was created as a play off of my name. So my friends call me Ness. And at the time I was working retail and I was just like really into like beauty and fashion. So I would dress up for work. I sold shoes. I was an Aldo girl. And like
yes, you are. I can totally see it. I love that. We love those Aldo girls.
It was like part of the brand. Exactly. So like back in the day, like part of being an Aldo girl was like, I was a manager too. So, but this is like before the time of like all the things now, but like you had to be fashion forward.
Yeah.
Like to work,
100%.
To work at Aldo, like part of like how you showed up to the interview was like part of like whether you were getting hired or not. Like this is like back in like 2010, right? When, so I was an Aldo girl and I would always be like super dressed up for work. I had so much fun, like just, I don't know, just kind of like looks for less type thing. So I started this blog. People would always ask me at work, like, oh, where's this from? Where's that from? Or like, I wish I could dress like you. And it was like, you can, because they sell these pieces where you can buy them too, you know? So I created this blog, and it was just like to empower women to feel really comfortable in their own skin through beauty and fashion.
If you don't mind me asking, at what age was this?
Oh, this was like college. So definitely my early 20s. But before that, I did like beauty pageants and I grew up a dancer. So I've always been like a girl's girl, like a girly girl. So that
and all the creative, like using your creativity.
100%. Like I have been like Canva's all the thing now, right? But like my first client was definitely my mom, because I used to make like her flyers for church. And like,
oh my God.
Yeah. So like I would
before
make
Canva.
Yeah, like before Canva, I was like doing these great things on Word, and like all her friends were like, oh my God, is your daughter a graphic designer? I'm like, no, I just know how to use PowerPoint and like word art, like, you know.
Girl, life before Canva.
Yeah, exactly. So I've always been like very visual, like always a visual. I very much creative directing was always like a thing for me. I've even had like friends growing up where like I wasn't the best with my hands. Like I wasn't like an artist. Like I couldn't draw. I had a vision. So like in group projects, I would always have someone else draw and like design things, but it was like my idea. So I feel like that's always kind of been in my blood. And then my mom has always been like photographing. Like my mom always documented and like took videos of like everything that we did, and like every holiday was like a moment. Like even St. Patrick's Day was like a moment. We're not even Irish, you know, like we're very much Dominican. So like everything was always celebrated, and I just kind of like threw all that in a bucket, and it's just like who I am. And so like now I document everything, and I'm a storyteller, and it just made sense.
I love that.
Yeah. So I guess that's where it started from. It was a blog, and then like it turned into all these different opportunities. And then in 2020, I formalized it as a business because I started receiving a lot of
COVID.
During COVID.
Okay.
Yeah, I was one of those people that had like a really good COVID. Like, yeah, respectfully. Like, I did not like COVID for me was definitely an awakening to like exactly where I should be. So at that point I had already like built my brand. I had a decent amount of followers, and like people were really navigating towards like, okay, if you have like X amount of followers, like you know what you're doing on here. So then I
do you feel like people were monetizing social media and the creator space during that time? I feel like that's kind of like the brink of it.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I feel like that's when it really picked up. I think that people had been making a lot of money way before that. It just wasn't as heightened. So then I just started having people inquire about, you know, building their brands, right? Ooh. It's like they're seeing the things I'm doing, and it's like, how do I do that? So then I started doing consulting. A big piece of it for me was...
So I didn't even know that, but I love going back to this.
Yeah, I mean, a big connector to it was really doing network marketing. When I like launched my network marketing business, and I, you know, started working with a lot of different women, particularly sometimes men, I just was so passionate about helping them build the business we were in. But then it was like, how many people need all of this that aren't in our business? And then that's when I started expanded the business to small businesses and personal brands.
I love that.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a whole lot of, oh my God. Some people might be like, wow, that just kind of like happened so naturally for her, which it kind of sounded like it did. But I'm sure there was so many years in between all of that, from who you were as a kid and a baby to, you know, who you are now, you know, Aldo girl to now.
Aldo was definitely a pivotal point in my life, okay?
Shout out to Aldo.
Shout out to sponsor this video.
For real, sponsor this video. So where were you in your life when you finally launched So Necessary Creative, which is your
my business.
Your business.
My first baby. That's like my baby. So I was working retail. The majority of my resume, the majority of my like professional work has been retail. So I was in luxury retail, found myself back in retail. And for me, it was just like, why am I here? Like,
when
why?
You have so many like skill sets in your belt now.
Yeah. I just didn't understand how to make money, like build a business from the things that I was great at, like how to put a price point where I could make a living off of it. So it was just one of those days where I was just kind of like over my job, and the pandemic.
Okay, so we had to take a little bit of a pause, you guys, which
a little rearrangement.
A little rearrangement.
A little tech difficulty.
But it happens I'll be holding the mic for now.
It's fine. You're giving full-blown host vibes.
Yes. Okay, so where did we leave off? We left off with pretty much how the birth of So Necessary Creative.
Yeah, as a business. So basically, I was building my network marketing.
Right.
My network marketing business. And through that, I was, meeting a lot of people. In order for that business to grow, I was helping other people grow.
Yeah.
So I found myself in a place where I was helping people build their personal brands, all the people I was working with in my organization. And I thought to myself, how many people outside of my organization?
Yeah. Can I help?
Can I help? Like, there's people outside of here that need this. So then that's when I started tapping into more personal brands and small businesses. I started doing workshops to kind of like get my feet wet and see like, do people care to have this conversation? Because it was also natural to me. I think that was like the turning point for me. It was like, how do you not know this, right? Like, I'm like talking to people on these workshops and on these Zoom calls because it's the pandemic. So like everything's happening virtually, and I'm just like on one. I'm just like this and that, and people are staring at me like, wait, go back to point A. And I'm like, how do you not know point A?
Yeah.
So for me, it was like anything else. I think a lot of times we underestimate our day-to-day and like the things that we do so naturally, and we just expect it to come naturally to others. And thankfully for me, it does not. So that's how I have a business.
Yeah.
And then, I think it's like anything else. I just started talking about my business. I started sharing it. People started sharing it. Till this day, we're going into like 5 years, and we've really...
Wait, what? It's been 5 years since So Necessary?
Yeah. I mean, technically, like... Yeah, so when I made it in LLC was 2020.
Okay.
When I felt like having... Oh, well, you went to my launch. Didn't you go to my launch?
Oh my God, yes.
You were at my launch.
Yes. What a full circle.
So I launched...
Oh my God, what a full circle moment. Yes.
Yeah, so I launched... I had that like formal launch, but that was technically like a 3-year anniversary. And I just felt at that point like, now I have creative assistants. Like now I have a team. So like now it's like more formal or whatever. But like the business had been established and I had been navigating. But I mean, it came to me when I was just like done with my job. I was like at my retail job and the pandemic had hit and I started making money online. And I'm like, okay, if I'm still making a living, not going into a store and like not having to, sit on Madison Avenue waiting for people to walk through the door, which people were not walking through the door at that point. I just like quit my job and like went all in on this and myself as an influencer and all the things I've ever wanted to do. I just like went for it and it's worked out for me. And till this day, everything's been very like referral based and I have yet to really like put out ads or like do any big marketing outside of, social media and like actually networking with people and my business is like doing well.
I feel like people really, obviously, like depending on like what scale you want to get to your business, I feel like people really don't know the power of like relationships and having a strong network. Like, I don't know if I mentioned this to you or if I had mentioned it not too long ago, but I honestly, like this past year, 2024, I took a big break on social media, like a big break. I just needed to really just like tune into myself and like heal and do all this self-discovery and do a lot of like things that I personally was kind of putting on the back end in my life.
To do when you're busy.
It's very easy. It's very easy to do when you're busy and you like really thrive on productivity.
Oh my
God. But I have been doing the work over the last couple of weeks.
You're thriving on productivity that you're claiming as what you define as productivity or what society defines as productivity?
I guess both.
Okay.
Yeah. But honestly, and I came back, started creating content again and just kind of like, like putting my feet in again and just like doing that, and like the community has just nothing happened. Like the world wasn't over.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like the people that I have created such a genuine connection with, that community is still literally there no matter what. So I feel like that's the power of like personal branding and just like building genuine connection, being outside in person, meeting people. So I love that you're using that to really like launch your business, you know?
I think a big like motto for my business is, you know, put the social back in social media.
Yes.
Really what you should be doing on social media is what you would be doing in real life.
Correct. Right.
We're just like living in a time where everything is so digital and we're like on these phones and like everything's through a screen. So like we've lost human touch. Like
oh my God,
100% lost human touch.
But
when you do what you've said you've done, where you're like, you know, spending time being present and navigating through building genuine connections, like whether you don't show up on social media for months, like you should have those human connections in real life where people,
and it's paid back so much.
Like, because you still exist even though you're maybe not being present online. Whereas like people get lost. I'm really navigating through that right now because I have a lot of friends or acquaintances or people that I know that know me and what's going on because of what I post on social. So there's been that like kind of disconnect on like, are we really friends or are you like a follower or are we just like connected through social? So I try my best to be like really intentional with being present and human connection.
I feel like what I love about you, which I feel like you've done so beautifully during like your she's a new mom, you guys.
I'm so a new mom.
She's a new mom. Her baby, Oliver, is 7 months. So I think what you've done so beautifully is like really show your journey. The messiness, which is really hard to do on social media. So I give you props because that is not easy. Throwing your stuff out there and like sharing, you know, maybe like a bad day. What a bad day looks like or like your thoughts, your fears during a big change. And I'm just like, good for you because I had to go away. I had to go away for that.
I think something for me that's always been important is like keeping it real. Like even back to when I started my blog over a decade ago, I think is, you know, people say this a lot like, oh, like I'm just trying to keep it real or whatever. But I just woke up one day and I'm just like, I don't care. Like I genuinely like don't care what people think. I don't care for it to be perfect. Because every time that I worked on things, even getting ready for this, I'm like, you know what, I'm going to wear lashes today. I have not worn lashes in a long time, right? So I thought to myself, I'm like, I remember the days where like I couldn't film content like a decade ago. Like I couldn't film unless I had like a full face of makeup. And then just even getting the full face of makeup and then like setting up the lights and then setting up the backdrop. By the time the setup was done, I was tired. So the content wasn't created. So at this point, I'm just like, I'm going to pick up my phone. Oh my God,
that's so hard.
I'm just going to do it. Like, I'm just going to do it because if I don't just do it, it's not going to get done. And then I'm a hypocrite for like speaking to my clients to kind of just do it, you know, whether it's not perfect or like, just get it done. Like I need to set the tone for everything that I do, right? Like how you do one thing is how you do everything. So I mean, it's also been, you know, discovering like my child's privacy, right? Like my partner is very private. Our life at home is private, but it's also navigating through like now I'm a mom and like now there's, you know, my son and it's just like I will always pray that he's, you know, protected and I always pray that like our home is protected. Like I always pray that I'll share these parts of our lives and that, you know, you can't avoid other people's intentions, but I could just pray over protection of my family, right? Because that's what a lot of people feel some type of way about putting their business out there because there's people with malintent. I have fortunately never had like, you know, what's it called? Like people like trolls or anything like that. Like I genuinely am like, I might be delulu, right? People say, but I'm just like,
I think you don't focus on that. Even
I don't focus on it, right? I think a lot of times when people bring these things up, like how you're saying you went on your hiatus, like no one even noticed unless you say something.
I don't think people, I did have a few people ask me like, hey, like I haven't seen, like I've had a few messages, but it's also like, honestly, when I first started to like talk about like the pre-launch, the photo shoot and everything, I've had people who I haven't spoken to in months like text me like have my actual cell phone number and text me.
Right, human interaction.
Like human interaction, and just like pray over me and like say like the most amazing things. And I'm just like, I think that's what's so powerful about like what you and I both do. And I feel like I know that you wear your heart on your sleeve.
Oh, I do.
And I feel like I live by values and morals, and I know that you do as well. But I feel like we also share those and we act upon it. So I feel like we attract that back 100%. To us. And I think that's why you're saying like, you know, obviously there's malintent out there in the world, but we don't really receive that into our space because we're kind of filtering out the people who, 100%. Right? So 100%. I think that's the power of like what building a personal, strong brand can be.
Yeah. And I think, you know, it's like you project, like projections, right, are a thing. Like, what will people think or what will people say? And a lot of times, like we have these lists of things. What if people say? And people aren't even thinking that.
Right.
So we self-sabotage.
Correct.
And you're creating, you know, this wall. You're creating that friction for all the things you don't want. Yeah. Because it's so easy to focus on the negative and like all that will go wrong. Like we can have an ocean of that.
Oh my God.
But then when you sit and you're like, what can go right? It almost feels like you're romanticizing life in a way that is not realistic.
Yeah.
And why can't that be reality?
Yeah.
Like, why can't things be good? Why can't things work out? Why can't, you know? So again, it's just, I'm just going to be myself. I'm going to do, because doing it the other way, like having doubt and imposter syndrome and all those things have held me back from doing the things I actually want to do. So now I'm in a place in my life where it's just like, we're going to flow and you like it or you don't.
I love that. Okay, so let's get back to So Necessary Creative being official.
Yeah.
How did that make you feel? Like, what were the steps that you kind of took? Like, what were your thoughts and process in regards to that?
So I think it hasn't even been until maybe like the last 2 years or maybe even like this last year. Every day I wake up, I'm like, I have a business. Like I have a business, like this is my job. Like I actually get to do this. I think I'm still navigating through like, not full-blown imposter syndrome, but like understanding that this is a job. Like I pay my taxes. Yeah. I have a payroll. I like, this is my job. Like this is work because I love what I do so much.
Right. You love, it comes so naturally to you that you have to like, kind of remind yourself like, hey, this is like my business.
This is my business. Yeah. So I guess, you know, went ahead and made things formal, creating my LLC. Like that for me, like I thought like, oh, I had everything. Like that's it. Like now I have a business because I have an LLC. But I've learned along the way that there's so much more to it than that. And I've just decided that I'm not going to do everything. I'm going to learn to delegate. So I've been very fortunate to have 2 creative assistants that are super type A. So
I love type A.
Yeah. I'm so not. Like type
right.
A.
And I feel like you need that. Yeah. Like you need that balance. You need someone to like,
like keep track of your books and send out like invoices and contracts and like do all the things because I like to color. That is my reality. Like
I feel like sometimes you have to like really own in on what your strengths are,
100%.
right?
100% because I was definitely drowning and I had a lot of anxiety, like feeling that I had to do it all myself because this is my business. And it just wasn't working because I'm just not good at a lot of things. I'm good at a lot of things and then I'm just not good at a lot of things. So I'm in a place in my business now where I know what I'm good at. I know what I'm not. And I'm just grateful to have like a network and a team that like helps me navigate in the spaces that I'm not good at. Like that's like 100% a thing. I had to like set my pride aside and kind of like my ego. I felt like I had all this to prove, like not just to myself, but even to like my family, right? Like till this day, I don't think my dad fully understands like what I do.
Yeah,
and,
my
like,
parents don't know what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, they don't get it. Like why?
They're like, what's a podcast? I'm like, you're gonna find out.
Right, 100%. So and especially like growing up in a very Latina household, it's just like, what are you even doing? Like, you got a degree and you're doing what?
Yes.
Like, we paid for your university and you're doing what? And it's just like, I'm like, I could be successful in this way.
Yeah,
like,
for
watch
sure.
me, you know?
Yeah.
So I just felt like I had to do everything in order to prove to like specifically my family, not really people. Like my family's opinion is really what like weighs
holds
holds weight for me. Yeah. And then I just learned like it doesn't have to be hard. Like life does not have to be hard. Like it can be easy and you can be happy or you can make it easy, right? Because you're still gonna have struggles, but like life doesn't have to be hard. And once I kind of like realized that, it like opened up a door for me to like understand I have this business, I have these people that help me in this area, I have to like check in, right? It's not like I give these people this responsibility and it's like, oh, let them figure it out. Like as a CEO, I still have to still like check in on certain things and be in tune with what's happening. But I think, yeah, just like delegating has been a big part of like solidifying my business, where it's a place where there's work-life balance, if balance even exists.
What do you feel like has been like one of like the biggest challenges that you've had to like, or obstacles that you've had to kind of face throughout this entrepreneurship journey?
Pricing.
Okay.
Yeah. For a long time, knowing what I know now, like yesterday's price is 100% not today's price. There's like no way. There's just no way because it's fun because it's fun for me. Like the times that I've made my own content when I'm personally invested in my thing. Like I can turn around and edit a video. Just because I can turn around and edit a video in an hour doesn't mean that like it should be priced less. Just because I can do something fast doesn't mean that it should cost less.
Yes.
So pricing 1,000%. Like I have worked with different coaches. I've worked with different like people, like navigating through that. There was like a lot of money healing.
I was about to ask.
There was a lot of like internal,
like money wounds or something like that.
1,000,000%. Like for a long time, and I feel like I still kind of navigate through that. Is like I base my self-worth off of like my bank account, right? So it's like if my bank account is high, then like I'm high.
You're
like, when my bank account is low, like I'm low, and I'm still kind of navigating through that, but it's in a completely different place now because my priorities have shifted. But pricing 1,000%, and because it's like fun, I was underpricing like a lot of things, or I felt like I was also doing things with my pocket, right? Like basing my prices off of my pocket. Like I wouldn't pay for that.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't pay for that. But then when I sit back and I'm like, look at all this client is getting, or there was too many times where I did a shoot or a consultation and in the end, like the client left like over the moon. And I'm just like, I just changed this person's entire business and I charged them like nothing. So that's a hard no.
How do you feel like you navigated through that? Like, what do you feel like helped you? Because I also went through like a lot of money mindset belief things many, many years ago when I was also in network marketing, like kind of like starting network marketing. And I had to go through that also. It was like it was an ego death in regards to mindset, like your money beliefs and like what you're worth. And if you can, like, just because maybe I can't pay for this right now doesn't mean that somebody else can't.
100%.
Right.
I think it was a lot of, I think how I worked through that was I left a lot of, it was the aftermath, right? Like we can go in and do a shoot right now like this, right? And this was so much fun and the shoot was done. But then I'm sitting home going through hundreds of pictures, right? Like the post production,
the time,
of what we
the effort,
the patience,
the quality.
That's all. I got to put a price tag on that. So like when I caught myself like not happy with what I was doing, like I'm like, wait, I love this, but I don't love this feeling. And part of it is because you didn't charge enough. This is not worth your time. Like what you charge someone for and all the time that it's consuming, it's just not working. Like it's not making sense. Like the math wasn't mathing. I started feeling very burnt out because I'm a recovering people pleaser. So here I am saying yes to everything.
It's a big self-worth thing. Also.
100%. Because people are coming to you with kind of an idea, but then they don't really know. Or a lot of times like clients think they want one thing, but then it's a complete other. So like even navigating through that. But yeah, I think it was just like feeling so deflated and like feeling just like burnt out because I was working so much and I wasn't really getting a return on my
Did you have any like sort of like coaching or business mentor or anything 100%. Like that? I know that you really surround yourself with people who are probably like ahead of you.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like that's so... Honestly, that's like such a cheat code.
Yeah.
Like just surround yourself with people who are doing more than you, who are also just as ambitious as you or more. And I feel like that changes the game in your life, to be honest.
100%. I think in 2021, I met my business mentor. Her name's Vanessa also.
I love Vanessa.
So Vanessa Farino for me was like a huge game changer because she taught me like how to navigate through my business, but still be a human, right? I grew up in like a very like hustle culture. You know, my parents are, I'm an immigrant. My parents are immigrants. So like big time, like you got to work hard in order to get things. My father has been very, you know, successful monetarily, right? So like I always knew, you know, he did all these things for us.
Yes.
Yeah, he did all these things, and the way that he got, you know, for me to be able to have the privileged life that I had, which by privilege is just like, you know, just having things,
like comfortable
right?
living, like
comfortable living. Like we, you know, he still made us work for things. I wasn't handed everything, but we were able to do all the things we wanted to do because he worked so hard. And like his working hard was like hours and hours. And like you wouldn't see him. He would, you know, you would leave home. He was working. He would come home. He was working. So it was like work. And when I started working with Vanessa, it was very much like, yeah, but no. And
I know Vanessa's a very like intuitive entrepreneur.
1,000%. And that was something that taught me like I don't have to work as hard. And then, you know, here comes a cliche like work smarter, not harder. And that was like a big turning point.
Okay, love that. So I'm gonna go into motherhood a little bit. How has like motherhood changed your perspective in life and in business?
Oh my God. This is like my first mom talk. Like publicly. Yeah.
We're getting it on camera.
Yeah.
How has this journey been for you, babe?
Oh my God. That's such a like big question.
Yeah, it's a big question.
It's a big question. How has it changed me? It's definitely pushing me to be the person that I've always wanted to be. Like a ton of things, like procrastinating. Like I'm a master procrastinator.
Yeah, I know. I remember we had that conversation once.
And my new boss just doesn't really
he has
give me too much wiggle room.
He's got a schedule for you, girl.
Yeah, he's just, no, I think so. Like, and then everything that I say I'm gonna do, like, I'm like doing it now. But I think it's changed me for, you know, the cliche, right? For the better. Like it has. It's teaching me time management. Like I've always wanted to be better at managing my time. And like now I have to be better at managing my time, especially as a business owner. And it being important for me to be a present mom, right? So like now my days are like filled with this very developmental stage of his life that I know is like very important.
True.
So just managing my time where I'm able to be really present with him, not be on my phone, right? Or like not have him like on a screen or something like that.
Yeah.
He's 7 months, so he's very young still. And it's just teaching me like his nap time is like go time for me, right? It's just like having my to-do list and like I'm not a pro at this just yet, but it's like everything I say I'm gonna do like has to happen now because like my time is just
so much more limited. Yeah.
So much more limited.
Yeah.
So I'm on my way to becoming that girl, you know? And then it's taken this.
Is there any advice you would
human.
give to any new moms who are like running a business and stuff like that?
I'm still like figuring
right,
all of that
you're like, I need the tips.
Figuring that out. But it's just like, I think all the cliches are true. Like as a mom now, I'm learning like all the cliches are true. So really trying, and this is all trying, right? It's not to say like this is the only way to go about it, but like I try my best to create a list and like stick by it and actually like go through it. But I think in the end, it's just not, you know, it's not like when we were kids and you used to play with your dolls and it's like your baby doll and like this is like a real breathing,
this is a real
living,
baby.
like this is a real, you got to keep it alive, you know, you got to keep them alive. But I think the most important thing is like really having grace with yourself and like sitting down and having that conversation with yourself, especially like this is something I'm navigating through is like, especially as an entrepreneur or like as a business owner where there's already 100 things in your minds and like your mind is always racing.
Right.
There is going to be that moment of like mom guilt now, right? Because like as your thoughts are racing about your business, it's like you're looking at this tiny human and you're like, did we do tummy time today, right? To make sure that like your back is like developing and like, did I, you know, am I speaking to you? What language am I speaking to you in, right? Like I know that a priority for me is like that our baby speaks Spanish, right? So like, am I spending enough time like making eye contact and like teaching you things? Because like even and it's also just recognizing that this is the era we're in. Like if I leave my phone on the couch, like, and I can't, like, he starts to reach for the phone already, right? So me becoming more self-aware of like, okay, when I'm with him, like no phone, right? And like trying to be this like no screen parent. Like I praise those that do that, but like sometimes you just need to get things done for like 20 minutes, right? Like watch a sensory video, right? I try to make sure that it's like a human being, you know, not just like overstimulating cartoons and things, but time management 1,000%. And then just like having grace with yourself because it's all new. And I think where I was going at with the last point is just like, where are your priorities, right? Like as a business owner, as a mom, like it's very important for me, and this is still a conversation that I'm having a lot, is like my son is my priority right now. Right.
It's the season that you're in.
It's currently the season that I'm in. Yeah. And that doesn't mean that it's setting me back from other goals. I'm just like, this is a big goal right now. Like having that conversation with myself where like this, I'm being successful if he's hitting his milestones, you know, like if I'm learning the things that I need to learn so that motherhood is a little more fluid, right? Like what's our agenda? What's our schedule? What time is it? Like all the things that I wasn't doing before that I said that I would do before, manage my time better, like get things done. It's happening now, but I have to constantly remind myself like, this is successful. Like his like developmental stage, his development is success, right? So I think, you know, for moms, new moms, or like moms that are business owners, it's like, what is your definition of success in this season? So my definition of success is like him hitting his milestones while still checking in on my business, right? Still being present with my business. If I have the village to like help me out, right? Like I've created a schedule with my village, my mom, where, you know, Wednesdays, like, because you do need just a full day. It's hard. Like working from home and like being a stay-at-home mom, like it all sounds like you're home ideal and comfortable and things, but it's a very needy time. Like it's a very needy time when you have a child. So, you know, figuring out a day where it's like I can completely, you know, he's being taken care of and so I can focus on my work, because when you try to do both, I catch myself sometimes like getting very anxious. Like, I can feel like an anxiety attack coming along. I feel burnt out, like all this guilt between mom guilt, between entrepreneur guilt, and then like I just kind of start spiraling and it's not worth it. But girl, it's a learning curve.
Oh, thank you so much, babe, for sharing that. Because I know, you know, off camera, we were talking about how this is like the first time that you've spoken about like your new journey into motherhood. So I'm sure that's like a big thing. Like maybe not even knowing how you're going to be expressing it, or obviously it sounds like it's very intuitive. So thank you so much for sharing that. Because I know that because you're going into this new identity almost, it's like sometimes that's a little hard to navigate, you know? So I do give you your flowers, girl, because I think you're doing a good job. Thank you. Sure.
I'm trying. I'm trying.
What are some ways that you feel like you pour back into yourself? What are some like non-negotiables for you? It is something that I ask every guest, like what are some non-negotiables for you, self-care practices, whatever self-care looks like to you, so that helps you thrive in your own life and in business?
So even before being a mom, I wasn't that like great at this part, but I'm tapping into things that I do enjoy that kind of bring me like back and like reset me. But I thoroughly enjoy like being in my car. Like I thoroughly enjoy.
You need to just get away. You just need to be in solitude.
Like I thoroughly like, I'm definitely the person that like sits in the driveway
for like I kind of do too, to be honest.
Like 15 minutes, and I just like I'll scroll on my phone, right? Sometimes it is just like scrolling, but other times like I just like to take a good drive and like blast some R&B and just like music is like a big thing for me. So like even if, you know, I have to multitask these days, right? So I like to like put my headphones on and like just blast music, or like put a podcast on and like clean up and like do certain things. Because again, like my space, it's like anything else, like how your space is how your mind is. So I mean, for me, is that like really self-care? Yes, no. At this point right now is like just making sure I have like a well put together space is important. But I also just like, I'm making sure that I make time for like a manicure, pedicure. And I'm paying extra for the 15-minute massage.
I love that for you.
Like, I'm paying. I'm like, sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm about to like spend $100. You know what? Just do it. Like, just do it. So I think my mani-pedis are like my moment. That and my car are like.
It just resets you.
It's my reset.
Oh, I love that, babe. My truth. Has faith played into like a big part into this journey?
Like life journey? Like all the journeys? Like the motherhood journey? Like or the business journey? I would 100,000% say that like faith has been a huge part of building my business. Like, and even, of course, like building myself as a human, but taking that leap of faith to, you know, quit my job and like go into entrepreneurship full time, however that looks, whether it's running my agency or as an influencer or all the hats that I wear. But I feel like every time that I've had any doubt in what I'm gonna do, I talk to God about it. And I can sincerely say that like my business and my team particularly is definitely a testimony of my faith because it flows so easily now for me to be like my creative assistants, like my assistants, right? And like every time I say it, I just need y'all to know that it's like
a little
for me,
pinch
for
where
you,
you're like,
yeah, it's like, oh, I have an assistant, right? Not one, I have two assistants. But I remember the days where I prayed for an assistant. Like I'm like, someday, you know, I'm not going to do this all by myself. Like I'm going to have, and with my assistants, like I feel like they're like my proteges, right? Like I don't just see them as people that are like helping me reach my goals. Like I love for my assistants to like open their wings and like, you know, I teach them about pricing. I teach them about all the things that were difficult for me to get to where I am now, like help make it easier for them. My entire team came in moments where it was like, a lot of doubt, a lot of anxiety. And I'm just like, I don't know how this will go. Like from my first, you know, from my first partner, my videographer, photographer, Nick, like he was like the way we met, there's just no other way. Like that was God. Like it was like the point in time where we met was just perfect. We still work together till this day. And then when the assistants came in, like just everything has been faith. Like it didn't, you know, it wasn't a response right away, but I always prayed on like the growth and the pursuit of my dreams. And so far he's responded. So
I love that,
I'm gonna keep praying.
I love to hear that, babe.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay, so let's get back into a little bit of like branding, which is like, you know, your expertise. I love talking about branding. It's one of my favorite topics. So what do you feel like makes a strong personal brand? What is a personal brand and how does that differentiate from like a business brand, you feel like?
Yeah. So I think, or I know from experience is just having a set story, right? So like my background originally in university, I went to school for public relations. And like at the time it was like, what is this? But it navigates into branding, right? Because in the end, like storytellers rule the world and a strong personal brand needs to have a clear story, right? I don't want to like say the cliches of like being consistent and like niching down or like knowing like, at the end of the day, it's like having a storyline and like your storyline really is like you, right? And part of that can also be, it doesn't have to be like who you are right now, but it's like who you're working towards, to become. So I would say that the most important thing is like know your story, right? Like even before I came here today, it was like, okay, like let's refocus. Like what's the story, right? Like what's the story? Like how we get here? Why is this conversation even relevant? Like who am I to like have this conversation? What have I been through or how did I get to, you know, be this strategist or this consultant or, you know, this person that helps people develop their brands? It's like my story. And someone would be like, what does that look like? Yeah, like I don't have a story. I'm not interesting. But that's where people like go wrong. It's like the simplest things, like the things that you find like so
mundane.
is part of your story. And it could be the story and you just don't think it's relevant enough. So building your brand is all those little parts of like who you are, who you're becoming, the things that you're doing in order to grow and develop that. I think that's really most important to building a strong brand. I don't want to say it's like be yourself, keep it real, be
in a world where like everyone is kind of creating their own brand.
Yeah. I mean, we are each a brand, honestly.
Right. I feel like I am the brand kind of thing. Yeah. And I feel like people, I feel like, what do you feel, maybe someone wants to get into like the content creation space, or maybe they're kind of scared. They feel like they're gonna get judged. Like, what would you tell them as like their first step kind of thing?
Get over yourself. Like 100%. Like just get over yourself, because your story, right? Your adversity, like even your day to day, right? Like I think I'm navigating through, this moment of like, I don't want to be like too much of like the new mom and like lose sight of like the hot girl I was type thing, or like, this, boss girl, boss babe or whatever, I guess part of my brand was. But I think the most important thing is like, get over yourself and like, where are you right now? Like, where are you? Because whatever your adversity or whatever you're going through is part of the story that's building your brand that could be what reaches the right audience. So, if you're a college student, right, it's like, tell us all the things that college students are going through. Like if you're a nurse, like if you're in the medical field, like what are all the things that like, what does that look like? What is the day-to-day to that? Because the thing is, it's like, everyone's going to be like, oh, there's so many influencers, so many content creators. Like it's so saturated. Right. Like yes and no, because the thing is that whatever you choose to create, like whatever story you decide to like thrive from or thrive with is totally personalized to you. And the thing is, it's like there's so many more people consuming than there are creating. Yes, correct. So if you do I feel like it's a disservice that you're doing if you don't tell your story. I always say that. Because there is gonna be, again, you're probably like, there's so many, nurses starting podcasts. There's like so many social media strategists and content. Yeah, but they're not me. They're not you. They're not that energy. And there's always going to be more people out there to consume this information than there will be creating because all those people consuming can't see how they would even get started. And by you going ahead and just getting started is what sets you apart. Yeah. Yeah.
Love that. Does that make sense? Yeah, no, 100%.
Okay, good.
I agree.
Sometimes I feel like I go on a tangent in my own mind, and it's a beautiful place for me, but I don't know if the outside world, if it's making sense.
No, it makes a lot of sense. Do you feel like a lot has changed on social media since you started early? I mean, for starters, I feel like Instagram was just obviously photos and you started off with the blog.
Yeah. And I
what do you feel like people are looking for more nowadays? Like,
it's just gonna, I feel like I've used the word cliche a lot here, but really life is just like a giant cliche, like but human connection, like it just is what it is. Like I had my blog, which was just a formal website, and then I was also creating YouTube at one point. And I'm like relaunching all of those things. That's all coming up for me. But what I'm watching and what I'm learning as a consumer, it's like, as I pay attention to like what content I look forward to seeing, like, when you go on and you're like, oh, I wonder what this creator is up to. And I take a second, because for me, I look at everything like analytically, right? I'm like, what is it about this that intrigues me?
Intrigues you,
And so I'm like unpacking the content. And at the end of the day, it's just the conversation we've been having is just keeping it real, like very not so produced, just wearing my heart on my sleeve. Like I woke up like this, and then some days I wake up like this. Like I have vomit on my shoulder, and then another day I'm wearing lashes. Like, so I think for sure, like authenticity does not go, like that doesn't have an expiration. But just real. Like it's, I feel like it's not really of the times anymore of such high production, right? Like having all the perfect lighting and having the perfect camera equipment. I know that's important to a lot of people, but it's not like, it's not that important. Like your phone is such a great place for you to get started with anything.
That's so true.
But yeah, just like what are like nothing, like the nothingness, but that is something that's gonna really reach somebody or provide value, but it just has to be real, not so produced.
Yeah. Okay, I love that. Yeah. So we're going to be wrapping up now. Yeah. Is there anything else that you want to leave with our audience, our listeners, before we wrap things up?
It's 2025 and it's just the year of like post the content.
True.
And it doesn't matter like the timeline. Like I'm about to go on this whole spree of like going through my camera roll and just posting all the things I filmed that I never posted. And just getting over the fact that like, oh, I recorded this 3 months ago. I wouldn't know.
Nobody would know.
No one would
know.
Nobody
would know. Yeah.
So just post it.
Yeah.
Like don't overthink it.
Okay.
Like,
I love that.
It just is what it is.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, babe. How can people follow you, book a service with you, or just connect with you?
So you can find me on my personal page at Vanessa.Contreras TV. That's all things me, influencer, creator, lifestyle, fashion. And then shout out to my agency. If you want to book a content day or a consultation, you can follow us at sonecessary.creative. Thank you so much for having me. This was fun.
Yeah, this was fun, babe. All the hiccups, but we've had such a good time today.
We got through.
We got through. Yeah. Thank you so much, guys.